don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
Well, the madness arrived early this March. And of course, it all revolves around Angel Reese. NBA Centel kicked things off by posting a fake quote from Angel on X, claiming she said WNBA players should get paid like NBA players because they're just as skilled. The post exploded, racking up over 7 million views before being debunked. It sounded legit enough to fool the masses and rustle the basketball world's collective jimmies, thanks to Angel's track record of bold takes and attention-grabbing statements. Now, to be fair, she's not responsible for a fake quote. But there was a reason why the Centel post seemed real. And after almost snuffing out the fire, she decided to pour gas on it. Just 48 hours later, she took to her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, and threatened to strike if the WNBA doesn't give players what they deserve.
Because I'm hearing, like, yeah, they don't give us, if y'all don't give us what we want, like, we sitting out.
That's a possibility, for real.
Yeah.
Well, that set social media on fire. And while fans slammed Angel, the real damage was how it reignited the most damaging talking points for the WNBA. That they're not as good as NBA players, they rely on NBA subsidies, and they've never turned a profit. These talking points have haunted the league for years, and Angel's arrogance swung the door wide open. This was an unforced error at a crucial moment for the WNBA, which, thanks to Caitlin Clark, is on the verge of legitimate mainstream success. And once again, Caitlin stepped in to clean up the mess. In a recent interview, she shared her thoughts on the WNBA-NBA debate, and it basically was a blueprint for how WNBA players should carry themselves during this pivotal moment for the league. The contrast between what she and Angel said is insane. Let's break it all down. But first, like this video if you think Angel Reese should be kept as far away from the CBA negotiations as possible.
And that would be her 6th. She's trying to convince her head coach to challenge.
Now, there's no question Angel is a savant when it comes to getting attention. If she was as good at close-range finishing as she is at stirring up social media engagement, she'd be a first-ballot Hall of Famer yesterday. But despite what marketing gurus say, not all attention is good attention, especially for a league that, even with last season's success, is still fragile. For nearly 3 decades, the WNBA has been, well, existing. It's grown steadily since the pandemic, but half-empty arenas and lukewarm viewership were the norm. Average attendance hovered below 7,000 per game, and I think we can all agree, guys, did you watch the Mystics game last night? Has never been said at a water cooler. It's not that the league lacked talent. It lacked a star like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan, who could captivate and draw in casual fans. Well, until last season.
Go in. This is what they came for.
Oh my goodness, it never gets old.
Caitlin Clark waltzed into the WNBA as the #1 pick with the hype she generated at Iowa from setting the all-time scoring record, leading the Hawkeyes to back-to-back NCAA title games and delivering several memorable performances that captivated America.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires, and it goes!
Are they going to get the ball up in time? Clark for the win! She does it time and time again, the 40-piece!
And, much to the dismay of haters who doubted she'd make an instant impact, she exceeded expectations. She averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds as a rookie, leading a mediocre at best Indiana Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. She set the rookie scoring record, broke the record for most single-season assists, earned all WNBA first-team honors, and won Rookie of the Year. Best rookie ever, case closed. But what captivated fans wasn't just the points and assists, it was how she did it.
48 triples coming into the game. Logo! Clark with a deep 3. Samuelson, nice pass there to Clark. Clark behind the back. Oh, it's Smith with the finish. Brilliance from Caitlin Clark.
Xander Lucini, some good length on the perimeter on Caitlin. That is a tough pass, and somehow she got it in.
Threes from anywhere, no look behind the back passes, long bombs in transition. When she was on the floor, fans paid attention because there was the potential for greatness every possession. And while I'd like to say her impact on the league was immeasurable, that'd be a big fat lie, because it was definitely measurable. The Fever set a single-season attendance record with over 340,000 tickets sold, averaging 17,000 fans per home game. game, up from a quiet 4,000 the year before. Fever games drove an estimated 45% of the league's TV broadcast value. Teams like the Washington Mystics and Atlanta Dream moved their games to NBA arenas to handle Caitlin-fueled crowds. And it's been estimated that she was responsible for 27% of the WNBA's total economic activity. Leveraging the Caitlin Clark momentum, the WNBA secured a $2.2 billion media rights deal over 11 years, injecting at least $200 million in annual revenue, $140 million more than their current deal. Yes, the league lost $40 million last season, but with Caitlin leading the way, it appears poised to shed the charity label that has dogged it from day one. With collective bargaining looming, all players stand to get what they've long desired, a significant raise. Finally, there's more pie to go around, and the players have Caitlin to thank. You can call this the WNBA's bird magic moment if you want, but any way you slice it, Caitlin created the conditions for all WNBA players to benefit, as long as they stay the course. Which is why Angel's threat to shut it all down was about as popular as a 25% tip prompt on a $6 drip coffee. Angel is arguably the second most popular and recognizable player in the league. She knows how to get attention, steers into controversy, and has racked up millions of followers and massive brand deals along the way. Despite her struggles within 5 feet, she had a strong rookie season with an all-star nod and a double-double record. Like it or not, she is one of the voices of the league. When she talks, people listen, even if they don't like what she says. So when she makes demands like the one she just made, everyone's going to hear about it and assume other players feel the same way. And in this case, everyone's mad because they know Caitlin Clark is the main draw, not her. Most casuals probably don't know about viewership increases or attendance records, but they know they didn't care at all about the WNBA until Caitlin Clark came around. They're not begging the bartender to flip on the Chicago Sky game because Angel Reese might drop 15 points and 13 rebounds. No shade to double-doubles, but that's not why new fans tune in and stick around. So when Angel demanded to be paid what she's worth, fans pointed out that Caitlin's the one deserving a massive raise, not her. But it's worse than that. What Angel is doing is incredibly short-sighted. The WNBA's success and the leverage for bigger paychecks hinges on Caitlin. She needs to keep playing. The league, while on the right track, remains vulnerable because it's overly reliant on one player's star power. It could take a decade for the Caitlin pixie dust to spread to other players and turn casual fans into diehards. With Juju Watkins and Paige Beckers and many other young stars waiting in the wings, this is a real possibility. But a work stoppage? That would be disastrous. I don't need to hypothesize. Here's the evidence. The 1994 MLB strike caused a notable decline in attendance the following year, with recovery stretching over several years. The 2004-05 NHL lockout led to the cancellation of an entire season, and while attendance slightly improved upon the league's return, TV ratings suffered a decline. The WNBA, lacking the financial security and loyal fan base of bigger leagues, faces the risk of losing its recent surge in popularity tied to Caitlin Clark, which would be catastrophic at such an important stage of the league's growth. Simply put, Angel is writing a check the league can't cash. Fortunately for the WNBA and its players, Caitlin has a long-term view, and her recent comments about WNBA pay were the perfect example. Here's what happened. After a recent keynote speech at the Women in Heart Symposium, she was asked about the WNBA-NBA pay gap and the differences between the leagues. Her answer, given the recent bravado from Angel Reese, struck the perfect chord.
I mean, I'm not huge on comparing the WNBA to the NBA. I don't really think that's fair. Obviously, I think where the WNBA is right now is pretty incredible. I think a lot of people, or most people, would not believe it's in the place that it is right now.
Caitlin understands what some in the WNBA do not. The league must avoid NBA comparisons. It's easy for players to eye Steph Curry's and LeBron James' massive salaries that are the size of a small country's GDP and cry unfairness, but it's a losing battle. The NBA's $12 billion in revenue towers over the WNBA's $200 million, driven by a different on-court product and 45 years of growth since the start of the Bird Magic era. And yeah, I don't need to dive deep into biology, muscle mass, wingspan, speed, explosiveness, but the men's game operates at a distinct pace and physicality. Sorry, but I have to play this clip because it always comes to mind when this topic comes up.
4 would be 8 to 11. Me.
It's not that, man.
I get ball first.
See, this is the problem. It's a pointless debate that may feel good in the moment, but there's never follow-through, and it never helps the women's game. And for those who think the NBA All-Star 3-point challenge with Sabrina Ionescu was a game-changing moment in the battle of the sexes, it was fun, but it's a skills contest, not a true one-on-one physical clash. The point is, comparing the on-court products is pointless. The men's game is seen as more electrifying, drawing viewers with the best of the best. The WNBA can't compete in that arena. Now, what Caitlin says next nails the right tone for the WNBA.
Where I think it'll be in 5 years is it's hard for me to answer because people didn't even think we'd be right here right now. And I think really sky's the limit. I think when you see, our TV numbers when we're on, national television, we're averaging over 1 million viewers or whatever it is. The All-Star game I think was over 4 million viewers. It's just really great numbers. So the more opportunities we're given, I think the more it's going to shine and get better and better.
She focuses on WNBA progress, viewership and attendance increases. She's not comparing against the NBA, she's comparing against the WNBA of yesterday. She's spotlighting the talent in the league without mentioning herself once. She doesn't tout what she deserves or how she drives growth. She lifts the league and its players. She's always done this. Compare that to Angel Reese, who bristles at the idea fans are there for Caitlin.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
But Caitlin doesn't just talk the talk, she walks it. She skipped the 2025 NBA All-Star 3-point challenge, deflecting the spotlight to keep it on the WNBA All-Star game, which will be an absolute media circus. She rejected Unrivaled's $1 million offer for a few months' work, opting to rest, train, and prep for the WNBA season. And this is while earning just $76,000. Her agent, Aaron Kane, said the WNBA can't pay Caitlin what she's worth, and she's right. She understands her role in growing the game, knows her true payday comes through endorsements and other business partnerships, and that the path to prosperity for all players is by growing the WNBA, even if she will never be fairly compensated directly. Yet she takes flack from players and media. They claim her hype's race-driven despite the records. They argue she wasn't big until Angel Reese taunted her. She drives the league forward, gets diminished by those who'll gain most from her, and responds by improving and uplifting others. And she's going to have the platform to do more of this in 2025, thanks to her off-season prep and the Indiana Fever's off-season moves. They didn't just tweak their roster, they stacked it. DeWanna Bonner, a 6-time All-Star and 2-time WNBA champion. Natasha Howard, a 3-time champion and 2019 Defensive Player of the Year. Sophie Cunningham, a sharpshooter who hit 36.2% of her threes over 6 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury and will complement Clark's playmaking while adding some much-needed sandpaper for the Fever. And then there's Sydney Colson, a recent 2-time champion with the Las Vegas Aces. She's not going to put up a ton of points, but she's a winner and a respected voice in the locker room. These additions, paired with Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, have turned the Fever into a legitimate contender. And if you think you've seen the full Caitlin Clark effect, just wait. If the Fever win the 2025 championship or Caitlin Clark claims MVP, the ripple effects for the WNBA could be seismic. Right now, WNBA Finals games pull in around 1 to 2 million viewers. But how many tuned in for Caitlin Clark's NCAA title game against South Carolina? 18.9 million. Now imagine a 7-game WNBA Finals series with Caitlin Clark chasing her first ring. The viewership would shatter records. Her impact is already undeniable. Opponents are moving Fever games to NBA arenas just to keep up with demand. She sold out 15,000 tickets to a preseason game. If she's heating up down the stretch and making a deep playoff run, the WNBA is in for a media explosion like never before. And this is why Angel Reese and others should rethink any talk of a strike. This is only the beginning. Win or lose, the Fever are quickly becoming the premier destination for top players. Just ask DeWanna Bonner. She had interest from contenders like the Lynx and Mercury, but chose Indiana because it gave her the best shot at winning. I've compared Caitlin's impact to Bird vs. Magic and how she's reinvigorating the league. But what if we're actually witnessing the WNBA's Jordan and the Bulls moment, where the league transforms into an international brand? People love a winner, and Caitlin has the tools to be the best ever. Of course, she can't do it alone. The league can't revolve around just one player. Angel Reese has a role to play. A'ja Wilson is a dominant force, and young stars like Paige Beckers and Juju Watkins are generating massive excitement. The league will have talent for years to come. But Caitlin is the leader. She needs to be on the court. She needs to be speaking as the face of the league. And rather than fighting the momentum, other players should put their egos aside, follow her lead, and focus on making the WNBA the best possible product for the millions of new fans coming in. If you're still here, drop a basketball in the comments. Thanks for watching.